Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin Williams here today with another episode of Forager's Find. And today, I thought I would take a second and cover a tree. I got my Bob Ross Trees Make Me Happy shirt on and working on the wiki up. So what better thing to do than a tree today? And so today we're going to be talking about the mighty pine tree. A lot of people love them or hate them, but I find that they have tons and tons and tons of uses, so I love them. One of the great things about the pine is it's amazing for construction material. It grows real tall, straight beams with only a handful of branches that come off of it. As it grows, they'll fall off and you can get some nice straight pieces. So the pine tree is amazing for construction material. You can use the needles for bedding. I got a down pine right here, and all these needles right here make excellent bedding and insulation for your shelters. So it's great for that. Also, it has some additional uses and just some beneficial and edible uses. The needles, if you've never tried it, you got to try pine needle tea. Boil up you some water, pour it off into a cup of a handful of these and let it steep for 5-10 minutes till it cools down to where you can drink it. You can strain it off or do what I do and just drink it out of it. It's packed with tons of vitamins and it's really good for you as well. Make sure to, I encourage to go with either a red or a white pine, 3 or 5 needles. These are 3 needles per cluster, and they make great pine needle tea. Also, the pine cones are packed with resin, and so this tree is highly flammable as well, and you can actually get bow drill with it. I recently got my first bow drill with pine. I've been doing bow drill for years and never got one with pine, and was fortunate to get pine the other day. Also, it has these little pine cones that you can eat. I've eaten them before in the spring. They're pretty tasty. I enjoy them. And then the pine nuts, you can get the pine nuts out of them and eat the pine nuts too. So it's edible, it's medicinal. Making the pine needle tea, it's good for construction material, and people will also take the needles and weave them to make baskets. And so it's got fabulous uses. One of my favorite all-time uses for it, though, is it's got fat wood in it. If you get to the heartwood of it, it'll have impregnated wood that is just packed with resin that you can use to help start fires, especially in wet weather conditions. Another great thing about the pine is on injuries such as this, when we cleared the parking lot, the bulldozer got it. It puts off all this little resin and sap in here, and what you can do with that is you can actually use it to make a pine pitch or a glue. And not only that, it's great for first aid as well. You can take this right here and grab some of that sap and that resin and stick it right on your wound. It's got antibacterial properties to it, and it'll seal it up from getting infected. I guess one other last thing with the pine that I love about it is I've not done it myself personally, so I can't tell you to go and do it. I've never been desperate enough, but you can actually take the inner bark, and it's supposed to be edible, and you can eat it. So those are just some fabulous uses for the pine tree. And fortunately for me, I'm surrounded with them. So get outside, experiment with some pine, build you some shelters with it. Like I said, make you a basket out of the needles. Try your hand, find a dead standing pine. When you break it off, it's not too punky, and try making a bow drill kit out of it. Here's our gill net coming along. If you've been seeing pictures on Facebook, working on the wiki up today and working on part 4 of that. So stay tuned to Dirt Time Adventures for part 4 of the wiki up. And like I said, guys, just get out, experiment with the pine tree. I thought I still had some fat wood over here I'd show you, but it looks like it may have all got used. The best way that I can describe it, the easiest way to find it, other than digging into stumps and roots, is go and find down pines that are completely rotted out, and in the center will be the heartwood, and it'll have like these little wings off of it. And those wings, if you ever see it laying on the ground in a pine forest, those wings are sure sign that it's fat wood. I think here's some right here. It's just I mean, just enriched. And you can tell it by the turpentine. It's got an amazing turpentine smell to it. I love it. I love the smell of fat wood. But it'll harden it. It'll create these wings. But you can also find them in the elbows and joints of the trees. Once you get a down pine, and the elbows and the joints on the pine will also have compound resin where it's built up in there. So anyways, guys, hey, thanks for coming along with another episode of Forager's Find. I hope you guys enjoy, and show me some pictures of your pine trees and what you're using them for. All right, guys, Justin Williams here, with representing some Bob Ross and some happy trees. Until next time, keep it practical, primitive, and prepared.